Hey everyone, so today we're going to dive into something really fascinating. It's a chapter or surah from the Quran called Surah Ar Rum, which literally means the Romans. Now, it kicks off with this incredibly bold prophecy, but as we're about to see, that's really just the jumping off point for a much deeper journey into faith, the natural world, and, well, us.
So the surah just drops this bombshell right at the beginning. You have to picture the scene. It's the 7th century, and the Byzantine Romans have just been absolutely crushed by the Persians. I mean, they're on the very brink of collapse. And right then, this text makes this super specific, audacious prediction. They're not just going to recover, they're going to be victorious. It's a wild hook that immediately makes you ask, how on earth could anyone promise something like that?
So, here's our roadmap. We're going to start with that startling prophecy for sure. But then, and this is the really cool part, we'll see how the text uses it as a launchpad to talk about much bigger things. We're talking about the signs of God in the world all around us, the patterns in our own human behavior, the ultimate promise that ties it all together, and finally, a concluding message about patience.
All right, let's really set the stage. We're talking about this massive, epic war between the Byzantine or Eastern Roman Empire and the Sasanian Persian Empire. The Persians were on an absolute roll. They had swept through Byzantine lands. They'd even captured the holy city of Jerusalem. To anyone watching at the time, a Roman comeback didn't just seem unlikely, it was pretty much unthinkable. And look, this wasn't just a minor setback for the Romans, this was a full-blown existential crisis. For someone to stand up then and publicly predict their imminent victory, well, it would have sounded completely absurd. And that's precisely the point. The Surah presents this impossible prophecy as the very first sign, a direct challenge to human doubt and a little glimpse of a power that operates beyond what we can see. So from this one specific historical prophecy, the text does something amazing. It immediately pivots. It zooms way out to signs that are universal, signs that are visible to every single one of us, every single day. It's almost as if it's saying, you think that promise is hard to believe? Just open your eyes and look around you. And it starts with the miracle of our own existence. It points to where we come from the dust of the earth, from basic elements, and contrasts that with the vast, complex, diverse human societies that now cover the entire globe. That incredible transformation, it argues, is a sign. The next sign is way more internal, something we find in our closest relationships. The text points to creating partners for each other so that we can find tranquility, love, and mercy. These incredibly powerful emotions aren't just framed as biological urges, but as divinely placed signs for anyone who takes a moment to reflect on their own life. Then, it points to the simple rhythm of our daily lives, the very cycle of sleeping to rest and being awake to work and seek out a living. This is presented as a sign. I mean, have you ever just stopped to think about this amazing system that allows us to function and flourish? It's so regular that we just completely take it for granted. Now, this slide here illustrates one of the most powerful signs in the entire chapter. The text points to the earth when it's dry, barren, seemingly dead, and then it's completely revived by rain. This image of life just bursting forth from lifelessness is not just a neat fact of nature, it's a core metaphor that the whole surah is built on. You're going to want to remember this one. Okay, so after looking at the signs in the world around us, the text turns the focus inward. It starts looking at the predictable and often contradictory cycles of our own psychology. It suggests that, yep, we can find signs in our own behavior too. The surah makes this incredibly sharp observation about human nature. When disaster strikes, right? When people are in real need, they turn to a higher power, and they're sincere about it. But what happens once that hardship is gone and they're given ease and comfort? Well, some of them forget. They get heedless or they start attributing their success to other things. It's a pattern, a cycle, and it's presented as another sign for us to think about.
So the text argues that this forgetfulness is actually a deviation from our original state. It introduces this really key concept of fitra, which you can think of as our innate, primordial nature. It's described as this natural inclination inside every single person towards recognizing truth and the divine. The idea here is that our search for meaning isn't something we learn, it's something we're literally born with. And the surah's message is a call to return to that pure, inherent self.
And this brings us to the absolute climax of the surah's argument. All of these signs, the historical prophecy, the wonders of creation, the patterns in human nature, they've all been building towards one central, ultimate promise. Remember that metaphor about the rain? This is where it all comes together.
The text takes that powerful, observable reality and poses this stunning rhetorical question directly to you. It asks you to think about this natural process you see all the time.
The revival of the earth isn't just a sign, it's a direct analogy for the resurrection of humanity. The argument is so elegantly simple. The one who can bring life from death in nature and does it over and over again, of course, has the power to do the exact same thing for us.
This slide really just lays out the logical structure of the whole chapter. It's a brilliant argument by scale. It starts with the smaller, time-bound promise of the Roman victory. That's to establish credibility. Then it points to the continuous, natural promise of the Earth's revival as observable proof that life comes from death. And it uses both of those to build the case for the ultimate metaphysical promise, the resurrection. So after laying out this whole elaborate case built on history, nature, and psychology, how does the chapter wrap up? What are we supposed to do with all this information? Well, the final message is a very direct instruction.
It ends with this, a call for patience and for steadfastness. It acknowledges that there are going to be people who doubt, people who don't have that certainty. And the final message isn't to argue with them, but to hold firm in your own conviction, a conviction based on all the signs that were just presented. From a seemingly impossible prophecy about an empire, Surah Ar Rum builds this profound case for faith itself. And it leaves us with a final question, doesn't it? What signs do we see, and what promises do we choose to trust?